Welcome to Switch Comics. My name is Marco, and today I have a handful of keys to talk about today that so far in 2021 we are just, it feels like left and right. There is a new key, new speculation book coming out, and I'm not just talking about we're reaching back into the archives. I'm talking about brand new books coming out that are popping off, tons of new first appearances, and I'd like to talk about, which ones potentially have staying power, room for growth, and which ones maybe you should be dumping and trying to get whatever you can for it. So before we get into it, quickly, let me remind you at 700 subscribers, which we are getting so close to so quickly, but we are giving away some awesome comics. All you have to do is be subscribed to the channel, leave a comment on this video, and if you want additional chances to enter the giveaway, all you have to do is leave comments on other videos on my channel. Every comment on a different video is another chance to win. So, let's go ahead and talk. I have, I think, 7 books to talk about today. First one we're going to be talking about is Thor number 20. And this is the first, controversially maybe, I don't know, I'm going to call it the first cameo appearance of God of Hammers. God of Hammers appears on the last page. Yes, it is a full page, but it's just, God of Hammers is there, and I think says something, I can't remember. It says maybe one line. Now, maybe to you that is a first appearance. I don't know. I feel like this is a whole different video conversation to have, because I feel like different people have different opinions of what a first cameo and first full appearance are. Regardless, it is holding a $20 book right now. Now, this book came out the 5th of January, and it's been out for about a month now, so it's been out long enough to kind of see a little bit of fluctuation. Not too long. Every one of these books is very recent, obviously, so not too long, but this one came out earlier in the month, so we have a little bit of idea, what's going on with it. It's still staying at a $20 book, and I'm saying that's pretty good, I think. So it's kind of hard for me to say, because I'm going to go ahead and bring up now Thor number 21, which I consider to be first full appearance of God of Hammers. I know on Key Collector, it doesn't, I think it just says Origin of God of Hammers, and it lists Thor 20 as the first full appearance, or just says first appearance of God of Hammers. And now this, though, despite, came out January 26th, near the tail end of January, it is only a $15 book. So maybe the market is agreeing that Thor 20 is the more valuable book. It's kind of hard to say. I do want to talk a little bit about, as far as, the market that we live in today, and where spec is so crazily sought after, and I feel like it changes the market a little bit in terms of when Thor 20 came out. I feel like it was a bit of a surprise, everyone's like, I gotta get it, and maybe not everybody did get it. However, when Thor 21 came out, everyone was ready. I'm sure there were some people that weren't, but for the most part, everyone's like, okay, I gotta get Thor 21. Especially anybody that does agree that it's going to be the first full appearance. It's, well, we assumed anyway. We hadn't read the comic, but it was like, yeah, this is a cameo. Next one's going to be the first full. And maybe that has something to do with the value. Maybe more people got this comic, and it didn't blindside people as much. That could have a contributing factor to the price. Like I said, also, there's a bit of controversy which one is the first full appearance and stuff like that. So now let's go ahead and talk about the character God of Hammers, and do I think this comic has staying power or potential for growth, or ditch it as soon as you can. So obviously I don't know. I will say this Thor run has been absolutely amazing. This series is actually the same series that got me really into comics. For those of you that don't know, I'm fairly new into comics, and I read that Thor issue number 1. I've always loved Marvel and stuff like that. I've watched all the shows when I was younger, and every now and then read a comic, but I've never really been a comic collector until now. But I read Donny Cates' Thor number 1 and was absolutely blown away, and yeah, it snowballed from there. But I love this run, and this run will always mean something to me, even if something happens and it becomes a terrible run or this or that or whatever. That being said, I've really been enjoying these last few comics. However, I don't think, I have a big suspicion that Black Winter will be returning in some kind of big grand fashion. However, I don't know how I feel about God of Hammers yet. Obviously, we haven't seen too much of God of Hammers. Looking at the previews and stuff like that, the Avengers are all coming to help fight God of Hammers and stuff. And I'm kind of thinking God of Hammers is going to be defeated and we're going to move on to the next thing. Now, I'm not trying to diminish how cool the comic is. Purely from a reading perspective, it's a cool villain. I'm enjoying the story, and I think it's going to be an awesome fight and everything. But as far as long-term spec, I'm personally thinking this one you might want to try to move as soon as you can. I could be wrong. Take everything I say with a grain of salt. I don't know. This is just my opinions. If you sell the book and then, in a year from now it's a $300 book, I'm sorry. I gave bad advice. But I'm just saying what I think. So we're going to go ahead and move on now to Hulk number 3. And this is a book that came out January 19th. I'm giving these dates, by the way, just to have a bit of context as far as, like I said, I know none of these times are, not tried and true, because if the book's been out for, a year, we have a solid sample size to be like, yeah, this is what the book did. It dipped down, it went up, it did this, whatever. However, even weeks, it feels like you can kind of get an idea, and especially if one came out this Wednesday versus the very beginning of January or something, there's going to be a bit of a discrepancy as far as sample size. So anyway, Hulk number 3 is about a $15 book right now, and I think so. We don't even know the character's name yet. It's the first cameo appearance on this character of what they're calling Hulk's version of Null. And as we all know, Null was a very big character. You can see right there. I got my Venom number 3. A very strong modern slab, and I say modern in the sense of it's extremely modern, not 1990s modern. This book came out I think 2018. It's a pretty new comic, and it definitely has strong staying power even after Null has been defeated in King in Black, and he's probably, it doesn't seem like he's ever coming back. It was such a good character and had such a good story that Venom 3 has been staying pretty consistent where it is, and I don't really see it going anywhere. Now, whether if it go, I wouldn't necessarily say I think it has strong growth potential. And obviously, if a movie or something happens, that's one thing. But as far as the comic itself, I think sustaining that value is going to be something that it does for many years to come. That being said, so this is same writer too. And it's funny, it's Hulk 3 and Venom 3. So we got Donny Cates here bringing out a new villain. And here's the thing, it'll be curious because Null was built up over the course of a few years, really. Because King of Black didn't happen until 2021. And so I'm curious if this new character is going to be teased that long, if he's gonna, if he's in it for the long haul, or if he's gonna take his time, or sorry, not take as much time and maybe get to it a bit sooner. That being said, first of all, I didn't even mention this Hulk series has been incredible. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. I didn't read Immortal Hulk because it was already started when I started reading comics, and I just never got back and read it all. But I was like, I gotta read Hulk when Donny Cates is on it, and I haven't had too much issue keeping up with it. And it's, I thought, been super creative and very well done. I gotta say, I'm a big fan of Donny Cates. I'm a big fan of this series, and I have strong faith that this character will be somebody cool. It's kind of hard to say, just because Donny Cates has done so well and created so many characters that people really enjoy. He did Null, he did Cosmic Ghost Rider, and a handful of other ones, and all those characters have, he's created some very new characters that have had a lot of staying power, and I think this could be another one. Now, granted, this is first cameo appearance, so maybe I don't know. We don't know if Hulk 4 is going to be the first full appearance, and we don't even know the character's name, which I think is really funny. But that being said, I do think this is a very strong book to have, and I'm probably going to be picking up extra copies of Hulk from here on out until we hit his first full appearance, so that I have one or two or three copies would be nice. But then again, maybe everybody else is doing the same thing, and that book won't have that much value. But Hulk 3 did have that surprise factor. I'm just saying, we live in different times. Maybe keys are going to be different moving forward. I'm throwing that out there. Maybe that'll be a whole different video. Moving on to Death of Doctor Strange, Bloodstone. I almost said also Bloodstone, but it's just called Bloodstone. It's a Death of Doctor Strange tie-in that I thought was super awesome. It was really a cool comic. And this came out January 12th. And it's staying right now at about a $15 book. And I am a little bit biased. First of all, Death of Doctor Strange was an awesome series. The tie-ins I thought were all pretty good. I'm a huge... I can't wait for my Bloodstone #1 to come back in. I love Elsa Bloodstone. I think she's a super cool character. So if any of this... Maybe people have differing opinions on it, but I have a lot of faith in this character. So this is the first appearance of Lyra Bloodstone, Elsa's sister. A new character introduced, and I think it was a really well-written book. Especially for being a one-shot, introducing a character and have a story going on. I thought it, caught my attention and had me invested in this character. I think the character of Lyra is very interesting and has a cool power set. I won't say too much about her in case you haven't read about her yet. But that being said, I think there's a lot of potential. It does feel like Marvel right now is introducing a lot of characters. I don't know. I'm assuming one of two things is going to happen with Lyra. She's going to enter Strange Academy, even though that kind of doesn't make sense, but that's kind of seems to be what everybody seems to be thinking. But I was like, I don't know about that one personally myself. But I could also see just a new series coming forward simply called Bloodstone or Bloodstones or something along the like about the Bloodstone family. Elsa Bloodstone has obviously been picking up in popularity. A big spec book that has just absolutely exploded in itself. And with that being said, I feel like Marvel has noticed. I mean, like, we're going to throw more attention in this area. And because, that's what they do. I mean, Marvel pays attention to what's going on and what people are interested in. And you can see that happening in the comics. So I don't think Bloodstone showing up in this tie-in was a little coincidence. I think it was very deliberate and planned. And I think they did a good job with it. I'm very interested to see where this character goes. I haven't talked too much about ratio variants. And that, again, might even be another video at some other time. But I have this ratio variant, the 1 in 10, which also doubles as her first cover appearance. So I do consider that to be a pretty good key. I think I paid $40 for it, and it's now about a $50 book. So that book has actually seen a little bit of growth, which obviously is cool for me. But that being said, again, it's been close to a month now, and it's had a little bit of growth. And I think, because the thing with ratio variants from most books, obviously keys are different, but for just your ratios that come out each and every week for random books here and there, unless they're an amazing cover or something, but they just seem to kind of trickle off, and sometimes they don't even really have a high starting point. Sometimes their value is just like, nobody cares about this book, and especially something as low as a 1 in 10. The fact that it got to $40 in the first place was already pretty incredible. That's a lot of money for a 1 in 10. In case you're unaware, ratio variants are typically valued about at their ratio point. So 1 in 10 is typically $10. 1 in 25 is typically about $25. Again, rough estimate, but that's kind of what it's got. So for it to be going for $40 is already crazy. I really was hesitant. I was like, is that too much for this? And I was like, I'm a big fan. I'm biased. I'm going to do it anyway. And it seems like it's paying off. So it'll be interesting moving forward to see, with all these characters, one ratio that I didn't pick up. I really wish I picked up the 1 in 25 for Hulk #3. It's an awesome Trad Moore cover. And I think I just had a really heavy week. And I was like, I'm already spending so much money. I shouldn't buy that ratio. And I do regret it. So, moving on now to the next book, though. We have a book that just came out this week, Amazing Spider-Man #88, which is, like I said, just came out this week, so February 2nd. And it is currently sitting at only $10. And even this, and this is kind of what I'm talking about as far as, like, watching and having a period of time to see, a sample size and everything to see how the book is fluctuating in price on release. And so I'm filming this video. What is today? Today is the 4th. So 2 days have gone by, And it's already gone from a $15 book to a $10 book. And I think that kind of speaks volumes. I will say, disclaimer, I haven't read this book. That being said, I think personally that this is probably just another rogue into Spider-Man's gallery of his bajillion enemies. And will it be anything significant? I don't think so. Probably not. So if you can get somebody to pay you $10 for this book, cool. Now, granted, you know, it is a first appearance, first cover appearance. Decent looking cover. I apologize for the sub pump. I do film in a basement, and it's raining outside. But anyway, I don't think this book will ever be much less than $10. I mean, I guess if the character really just disappears and nobody ever talks about her ever again. Queen Goblin, by the way, which I guess I just didn't mention. Also, I want to say on that, kind of a terrible name, because we already have a Goblin Queen Marvel character, so to have a Queen Goblin is kind of like, kind of almost feels like she popped out into the scene and she's like, I'm the Goblin Queen, and someone's like, that's a different character's name. She's like, Queen Goblin, maybe, you know? So, I don't know. I feel like there's a number of things coming against this particular character in this issue. I don't think it'll be much more than a $5 to $10 book moving forward. I think it will hold in that value, but that's not much to say. So, moving on to the next one. Now, I'm cheating a little bit on this one. Technically, the video I'm talking about is all these books that come out in 2022. However, we have Strange Academy number 14, came out December 15th, and I figured, you know what? That was close enough. I'll go ahead and throw it in here. Now, this book, and that being said, you know, has about a 2-month sample size period to it. Which is kind of interesting because it's still staying at a $20 book. Now, this is the first appearance of Gaslamp, and full disclaimer, I have not even started Strange Academy. I will do it soon, I promise. Hopefully. I don't know why I keep holding off and forgetting to read this series. It's only getting longer. But I am really excited to read it, and I think this sample size, and it's staying at a $20 book, I think that speaks pretty good. Now, granted, I think Strange Academy has kept up hype for a while. Maybe hype's not the right word, but I feel like the series in whole seems to be staying strong, keeping people's interest, and so when there is a new character in a strong series, people will be more inclined and more interested in that character. It's not super overly saturated, and again, for people who don't know, I work at a comic shop, so I have people's pull list. I order people's comics and stuff, so I see, you know, now granted, every comic shop's different, and, you know, I don't order the same amount of comics that everybody else does, but Strange Academy isn't like one of the biggest pulls on our list or anything, but it's a solid amount of people getting it. So it'd be kind of different, I think. Like, I'm off the top of my head, I'm pretty positive more people are reading Hulk. So just for an example, and I would think more people might be reading Hulk at the moment anyway, so that might mean there's probably more Hulks being printed. I'm just kind of speculating and guessing. I don't know. I could be wrong, but that's what I would say. I think overall there probably is more printings of Hulk number 3, for example, than there is of Strange Academy 14. So despite it being a strong series and one that is still very respected, there's not so much abundance of extra copies and stuff. So with that being said, I think those factors kind of help, you know, add into the value and the staying power of that particular character's first appearance. Now, without having read it, I'm not familiar. I don't even know. I think Gaslamp's a villain. I'm not sure. But, you know, again, if the character's around for a few issues and gets defeated and then, you know, we don't talk about him ever again, then, you know, it'll probably just stay a solid little maybe $20 book. However, if they build up on this character, it becomes more and more, it could potentially go up. But I don't have that information for you. So, moving on to the last issue I have to talk about today. But before we do, I would quickly like to remind you, every Wednesday at 8 p.m. we have a live stream, and I would love to see you there. We chill, make Legos. I'm actually considering even maybe playing some video games sometimes. I don't know. I'd like to know what you think about that. Would you like to watch us play some video games, me and my brother Chris? But anyway, regardless, even if it's just us hanging out, we have a lot of fun. Everyone, just comes and we just chill and have fun. It's a good time. Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time, if I did say that already. So moving on to the last book, we have Black Panther number 3. And this is the one that escaped me. I think I picked up every single one of these books on this list, yeah. Some of them multiple copies. Not too many, just 1 or 2, I think. However, Black Panther number 3 came out January 26th and is currently a $40 book, which is insane to me. And actually, that's a lot for just an A cover of a book. Now, granted, I do want to talk. So, first appearance of, I'm going to butcher this name, Tazan Adoye. My best attempt. But anyway, I will say I don't have a ton of people reading Black Panther at my shop anyway. Again, different shops might be different. And I don't think I order too many extras. So we probably only really had 2 or 3 hit the shelf. And man, I wish I grabbed one of those copies now, because again, $40 book, which is absolutely insane. And I'm not reading Black Panther either, so unfortunately, I don't really know what the big hype is, what the big deal is, other than my only idea is that maybe, again, it was a semi-low print run, and extra copies weren't really ordered, people weren't expecting. Again, I think the big thing nowadays, when we're talking about new books and new keys being released, is getting blindsided. When a new comic comes out, oh my god, it's the first appearance. Like, I always think of Taskmaster number 3, first appearance of Taiguchi, and I'm pretty sure I'm still saying his not wrong too. But anyway, with that character, completely surprised everybody. Nobody had any idea, and despite it being a character they're not doing too much with right now, it's still holding decent value. That 1 in 25 I know is holding good value, because it just came out of nowhere and it had a super low print run. I think that one had much lower print run than Black Panther probably, but that's kind of my only guess. I would love to know if anyone is reading Black Panther. Can you tell me about this character? Were they super cool? Were they the coolest character you've ever seen? Because $40 for a cover A is insane to me. Excuse me. But yeah, that's my list for today that I'm talking about. I don't think I missed any big, first appearance. Now, granted, I guess these were all Marvel books, so I'm not a big DC guy, as you can tell. If there was, some other keys that came out here recently in the year of 2022, in the first month or so, I'd love to know if there was something that I missed talking about today, and if it's a cool book that you think will, stay at a decent little value, or just plummet and people will forget about it. Overall, I think my strongest book that I have the most faith in is probably... Well, it's a hard one. It's between Hulk number 3 and Death of Doctor Strange Bloodstone. I have a lot of faith in both of those books. Again, I'm gonna hold out for Bloodstone. I think I'm gonna say the print run was way lower. I think the print run on that, on a tie-in book to an event series, was probably drastically lower than Hulk number 3. And now, granted, Hulk's villain is probably going to end up being a bigger character, more people are going to care about, but I don't know. We'll see. I think they're both super strong books. I think probably the worst one on the list is probably SpiderMan 88. I don't think people are going to care about it. I could be wrong. Could be wrong about any of these books that I talked about today, but my opinion, take it how you will. I'm here to help, but I don't know everything. So that's going to be it for today. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.